Hey guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 47 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 27. A good Sunday to all of y'all. All right, it's Sunday, which means we had a veto competition yesterday, and we've got the results. Now I'm starting to think that maybe we weren't going to have these things. It was a late evening, which translated into a lot of late night conversations. We're going to be covering it all this morning. Now, first of all, as a reminder, Vince is the HOH. He had previously nominated Mickey and Kelly and Ava, with Mickey as the primary intended target of those three. Will and Keanu were eventually picked. Even the veto picks took forever. It didn't happen until mid-afternoon, but Will and Keanu were selected to play in the veto. Took forever for the veto to start, but we do have the competition finished. Feeds came back around 10:45 or so, Big Brother time. Everyone dressed up in very fancy evening wear type costumes. I was thinking prom, but of course we already had a prom competition just a week or two ago, right? Well, another reason, another excuse to get dressed up. Everyone's dressed up in fancy evening wear. One of the first things we see is Rachel and Mickey and Morgan celebrating in the storage room. Usually is a good sign that someone may be a little happy, and as it turns out, they are. We quickly learn that they're celebrating because the veto winner is Mickey. Mickey has won the veto for the second week in a row. Mickey is going to be pulling herself off the block. She did it with Blockbuster last Thursday. Now she's going to be using it, the veto on her. She'll use it on her. Yeah, of course she will, because her name isn't Kelly. So Mickey's going to be pulling herself off the block this week. So she is celebrating. Rachel and Morgan celebrating as well, at least outwardly. Inside, they may not be quite as happy as they're letting on, but yeah, you got to play along. So these three are celebrating in the storage room. Remember yesterday when I said that Mickey would likely be the consensus choice that would somewhat pull the house together? Everyone wants Mickey out. It may all fall apart next week, but at least for 1 week, the House would probably consolidate in voting out Mickey. Well, that's not happening. We now have Maximum Chaos is now on tap for the week, even more so because of this guy as HOH, and him waffling on what he's going to do and trying to play all sides and all that. It's just going to make for for a dramatic week, I do believe. So we've got that. Vince has a tough decision to make. And he certainly is going to let us know about that throughout the entire evening, and we'll be covering all of that. So yeah, Mickey's going to pull herself off the block. Vince will be forced to do a renom. So 4 people being nominated. You know, as you start shrinking the number of house guests in this house, 4 people represents a pretty big chunk. Your options are limited, especially when you're trying to play all sides of the house. So it sounds like the veto competition itself was some kind of a knockout competition, similar to the comp that Ava won HOH on a couple of weeks ago, where people keep getting eliminated round after round. It sounds, I heard reference to a game of deception. Vince talked about how you had strikes against you that involved some type of gambling. So I don't know if people were making picks or counts or playing some kind of game of I don't believe it, like you do with cards or something. We've got another word for it. But anyway, I don't know exactly what kind of game it was, but apparently it involved a little bit of luck, a little bit of deception, a little bit of gambling, and picking people to go up next. So there was some control over who could or couldn't face the risk of elimination each round. It does sound like it's a little bit more random for each round, but we don't know a whole lot yet. We'll find that out a little bit later. Also, I don't know why this competition needed to take place why it took as long as it did to complete this competition, or why they couldn't do it at night. I guess they wanted, with them all dressed up, I guess it didn't make sense to be in the backyard in the middle of the sunshine. Probably with some of the fancy dresses, that could have been brutal. For whatever reason, it took a while. All right. Big controversy as part of this is that apparently during this competition, both Kelly and Keanu did not pick Mickey when they had the chance to do so. They could have picked her to compete. It could have potentially caused her to lose, but they did not pick either one of them when they should have. As a result, Vince came in second. Mickey won. Vince isn't real happy about that. All I can think immediately is, was it a screw up on their part, or was it part of a planned thing to protect Mickey and all? And we do have some explanations a little bit later. All right, so let's start the feeds recap at this point with Mickey owning the veto. Now, again, it was 10:45 when the feeds came back, but we still have a lot of stuff to cover because a few of these house guests stayed up a long time. So I'm going to go through them pretty quick. All right. We've got Vince having a bit of a meltdown. Imagine that. Bit of a meltdown. He's telling Morgan he doesn't want to do a renom. Woe is me. Woe is me. There you go. He does not want to do a renom at all. Vince, you didn't have to stay on the wall. You could have maybe, I don't know, worked out some kind of course, if he had to stay up, Cat would have stayed up, and then he probably would be in trouble anyway. So I get it, but he says he does not want to do a renom. Morgan is saying that, hey, look, you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You are the HOH after all. You're going to be fine. Let's just get the Judges Alliance together. We'll figure out what we all agree to do going forward. It's going to be okay, Vince. He doesn't think so. He's saying that he upsets everyone he wants to work with when he's playing this game. It's because you're so wishy-washy, Vince, that you can't declare a side and build some loyalty. It's not just about relationships when you're playing a game of Big Brother. You can have relationships with every person in the house, but if they don't really feel like they're that close a relationship, or that their relationship isn't any more special than anyone else's in the house, then it doesn't really do much for you. You've got to build some loyalty within some of these relationships, and I just don't know that he's doing that just yet. So, yeah. You are making everyone mad because no one's feeling like they really can work with you too much going forward. But he's saying that he just keeps upsetting everyone the way he's playing this game. Vince is saying 4 people are going to want to put up Ashley. 4 people are going to want me to put up Kat. One way or the other, someone's not going to be happy. Welcome to Big Brother, Vince. Vince is asking her at one point, saying, hey, can you hang out with me tonight? I just don't want to be up here myself. Can you hang out with me? And she says, yeah, sure, absolutely. All right, I've got Ava talking to Will. Ava's telling Will that she's worried that Kat could be a renom choice. Given limited options, that Kat could be a renom. I'm not thinking Ava wants to be up alongside Kat. She's saying if that's the case, then what if Kelly wins Blockbuster? Suddenly the house would have to choose between me and Kat, and I'm not sure that they would keep me over Kat at this point in time just because of the way house has fallen, different directions and all that. Will saying, yeah, no, you're staying over Kat. You don't have to worry about that, Ava. But she's worried. You should worry while you're on the block. But she's thinking there could be a way where maybe this could be the end of the end of the road for her. But they're both agreeing that even if she's a little bit worried about going up against Kat, the easiest solution would be to put up Kat. And I agree with them. That would be, from a Vince standpoint, an easy way to go forward, which probably means it's not going to happen. All right, we've got Ashley telling Ava that Keanu needs to be the renom. Ashley doesn't want her side of the house getting renommed. Imagine that. Go for the other side, right? You make sense on that one, Ashley. Ashley is telling Ava that Keanu needs to be the renom so that he won't have a vote to help Kelly, that they need to get out Kelly. So if you put Kelly and Keanu both on the block, one of them could win the Blockbuster, but at least, even if they don't, then that's one less vote for the other side. So there is some merit to that. Rachel is talking to Ava a little bit. She's telling Ava the goal this week should be getting out Kelly. Kelly's on the other side of the house. Let's get her out. We don't need to be focusing on anything else beyond that. All right, we've got Keanu and Vince talking. Vince is upset. Again, this is getting back to the veto competition. Vince is upset that Kelly picked him to go up in the competition instead of Mickey. But Kelly picked him to go up and saying, why did she do that? Why did she put me up at that set point of time? And Keanu said, well, if you had told Kelly before the competition that if you won veto, you would use it on her, then maybe she would have picked you or not picked you at that point in time, and maybe you could have won it. But you didn't tell her that. So, Vince, it is what it is. Keanu's telling Vince that you need to put up Rachel. He's saying you can't put Kat up. Yeah, it's not going to work for your game, Vince, if you put Kat up. He says if you don't put up Kat, if you leave her alone with his renom, going forward, Vince, I know you feel like you don't have anyone. He says, but going forward, you're going to have Kat because you didn't put her up when she knows you could have. You're going to have Kat. You're going to have Lauren. You're going to have Kelly. You're going to have Morgan. You're going to have me. We're all going to be on your side. You will be okay. You just need to leave Kat alone right now. He's saying Rachel is a much better renom for you at this point, Vince. And if not Rachel, Ashley would be a good choice too. So Keanu's certainly pushing to get a renom from the other side of the house. All right, we've got Vince and Lauren talking a little bit. Vince is saying that if this was post jury, he would have put up Rachel and Ashley and Mickey, but he wants to make jury, and so he didn't want to get all three of them upset with him. You can't overthink it, Vince. You can't worry. You can't make what is the most strategic decisions because you're worried about whether or not you're going to make jury, which is just a medium part of the game and not really shouldn't be that big a deal. If it makes the best sense to do it, do it. You're being too defensive in the way you're playing, and it's showing. But yeah, he's saying Rachel, Ashley, and Mickey, biggest targets. I would have put them up, but it's just too early to do that. Lauren is suggesting that, Rachel, you probably maybe ought to consider putting Rachel up. But he's saying again, hey, it's just too soon. We're not even in the jury phase yet. It's too soon for me to be going after such a big target as Rachel. He's hinting to Lauren that Rachel has put together an alliance. He never said that. He said a group. Hinting to her that there's an alliance with Rachel's part of or head of that was threatening him before the nominations. He's saying that 6 people have said that if Rachel goes up, he'll be going home next week. So hey, I don't have any choice. It's not my fault, Lauren. 6 people have said if I put her up, then I'm out the door. He mentions Will and Ashley and Rachel and Mickey and Morgan. I think that's it. All threatening his game if he was to do that. He's worrying that even if he renominates Rachel, Rachel could have the votes to stay because of this group. And then what does that do for his game? He's complaining. He's complaining as well about Morgan. He's saying he's lumping Morgan in as part of this group that's threatening him in his game. He's saying Morgan is staying with me all the time. It's stressing me out. Didn't you ask her to hang with you? But he's not telling Lauren that. Oh, Morgan, she's just up here all the time. It's driving me crazy. It's stressing me out. They're all threatening me if I don't play their side of the game and all that. He's saying that if I don't put up Kat, then I'm going to go home next week. They've made it clear. If I don't put her up, if I don't do what they want, it's my game that's at risk. He's saying that he has to put up Kat or Keanu, or they'll vote him out. Lauren is saying, well, if you do that, then, whatever threats they're making, are we just going to take it lying down? And he says, yeah, I guess so. And she says, if you do that, then they're just going to pick us off one by one. So do we really gain anything anyway, Vince? I can't believe Lauren's the one trying to convince Vince to be more forceful in making the big moves. But hey, crazy game of Big Brother. All right, we've got Vince talking to Kelly a little bit after that. Vince is questioning Kelly on this whole veto competition, on why she had picked him to compete instead of Mickey during the veto comp. She says, well, it's because I didn't want it to look like I was targeting Mickey. If I'd picked her, she'd know I was going after her. And I don't want her to think that. This just shows the fear and influence that Mickey has over this house right now. No one wants to get her mad. It's kind of like when Riley was in the house. It's kind of like Tucker last season. You see them as a big enough threat to win competitions, to have influence outside. She said, I didn't want her to get mad at me. That's not the word she used, but she said, yeah, I didn't want her to think that I was targeting her, so I picked you instead. No, that's why I did it, Vince. She's saying that it's not as though anyone thinks that you're on my side anyway. You voted out Adrian, you voted out Riley, so why would anyone expect me to watch out for you instead of someone else, Vince? So, yeah, I did. It wasn't an accident. I did it because I was trying to protect my game with Mickey, and you've already made your choice basically anyway. Kelly does tell Vince at one point that if she'd won, she would have used the veto on Ava. And she would have been happy to stay on the block. Kelly doesn't change. It doesn't matter what the situation. Earlier, Kelly had said during the day, told someone, she said, I think I could be going home this week. It just feels different this time that I'm on the block. Doesn't stop her from telling Vince that she still would have used it on Ava instead of herself. I don't know if she really would have or not, but I'm not surprised that she said it, I suppose. I'm going to accept it at this point. All right. Kelly is saying that she really needs to win Blockbuster. I guess she's willing to stay on the block because she's so certain she's going to win Blockbuster. Because Kelly says, I need to win Blockbuster in order to stay this week. she is probably right. Even without knowing who the renom is, I think Kelly's probably in the worst situation right now. Unless Rachel goes up, and then maybe the whole house will consolidate around getting her out. That could be interesting. But she's thinking needs to win Blockbuster in order to stay around. She's worried as well about beating Rachel in the competition. If Vince was to renominate her, suddenly she's not as certain that she would win that Blockbuster comp if she's competing. I guess she feels like she's can decently win against Ava. Not so certain about Rachel. So she is worried about that. Kelly is saying at one point, saying, look, Vince, you can either make a big move, which would be Ashley or Rachel. You can make a big move, or you can just stay at the bottom of the totem pole on your side of the house. Because he had said that several times. No one likes me. I'm at the very bottom of this totem pole. I know I'm at the bottom. Well, if you know what you're at the bottom, do something different. And Kelly's pointing out, yeah, stay on the bottom or make a big move and flip this game up around a little bit. All right, Vince is trying to argue again that he was tricked into voting out Riley on Thursday, saying, Mickey and Rachel, they told me it was a sympathy vote. Yeah, I thought that Riley was going home no matter what. I was just being nice to Morgan. I was tricked. I was tricked in voting out Riley. Kelly's not buying it. She said that Kat and Lauren, maybe, I'm not sure they bought it either, but maybe they fell for it a little bit more. Kelly's not buying it. She said, no, I heard you. And she said, are you lying to me? She said, I heard you and Ava agreeing before the vote to keep Morgan, that y'all were going to keep Morgan. So yeah, you telling me that Riley was gone no matter what, and I'm just not buying it. Vince, they're talking about the vetoes and all that, and what they need to do. Kelly's suspicious of Keanu. She's thinking that he might have thrown a veto. She heard him talking to Mickey, maybe saying he would use a veto on her if he wanted, or wanting to play for something along those lines. But she's saying, I think Keanu, there may be something up. I think he could have thrown a veto to make sure that Mickey won it, that he could be working with Mickey. So she's a little bit worried about that. So, maybe even Keanu could be a choice. And Vince is saying, nah, I'm not gonna put up Keanu. I'm not doing that this week, Kelly. He's also refusing to not renom Kat. Doesn't think that's an option as well. Kelly is saying, look, they're talking about who he does have, since he's going on and on about everyone he doesn't have. She's saying, look, you've got a strong ally in Morgan. Hey, she'll watch out for you. I feel like she's good to have on your side and all that. But it does seem like, Vince, you kind of chose Morgan over me. So don't you we're final two, right? And yet you kind of don't seem like you're acting like it. So Vince thinks he's got all these final twos and everyone will do everything to protect him because of that. Some people are not feeling like there's much a final two as others are. Was it Georgia? All of us are equal, but some are more equal than others. So she is pointing out that it seems like he's a little tighter with Morgan than maybe Kelly right now. Vince eventually finishes up the conversation, says, look, I apologize. I am sorry. I am not as good a friend to you as you are to me. I'll leave it at that. All right, Lauren's birthday is today. Happy birthday to you, Lauren. 23 years old. So it's her birthday while Vince and Kelly are upstairs talking. The rest of the house guests, most of the house guests, I couldn't tell who, but you can hear them singing happy birthday to Lauren downstairs at midnight. I hope when they do her birthday cake, they have extra long candles, because it's going to probably take Lauren several hours before she can decide on what her birthday wish needs to be. We may burn down the whole house before we're through with it, but happy birthday to you, Lauren. All right, we got Rachel and Morgan and Mickey. I take that back. Rachel and Morgan and Ashley are talking. They're talking about Mickey's win. Rachel thinks that she's saying, we can make this work. We should be able to survive this week, which starts with me not being on the block, is what she's saying now. But she says, I think we can survive this week. We could even survive probably next week. Even if Mickey was to win HOH, worst case situation, we should still be good if we just stick together. Morgan is saying that Vince she's pretty certain Vince is not putting up Keanu, and there isn't any other good option out there. But she already knows he's not going to put up Keanu. Rachel is saying that Ava had told her that Rachel is the renom, or could be the renom. So that's got Rachel a little bit worried about that. They're all wondering why Ava doesn't want Kat up as a renom, that she's been a little opposed to that. And they're not really sure what's going on with Ava and Kat, that Ava wouldn't be more supportive of that. Ashley is suggesting that Ava may have a deal with the other side, that we may have lost Ava at this point in time. Rachel is saying that she wants Kat out this week, that she would love to see Kat out the door. She wants Kelly gone, but she wants Kat out as well. Ashley is still pushing the idea that Kat is a lawyer, just lying to him about what she does, and that she's truly a lawyer or at least a law student. So again, a lot of them amongst themselves trying to push that Kat seems like a better option at this point. They just can't figure out how they can get Vince to do that. All right, we've got Vince and Ava talking just briefly. Vince is saying that his only options for renom right now, he's seeing his only options are Ashley and Keanu and Rachel. I'm just not sure what he's going to do with that. All right, we've got Ashley talking to Morgan. Ashley's telling Morgan and Rachel as well that Kat makes the most sense right now for Vince to do as a renom, saying she's already upset with Vince for voting out Riley, so why wouldn't he just go ahead and put her up? It just makes the most sense for playing the game. I agree. I absolutely agree with him. Ava's worried that if Vince was to renom Rachel instead and doesn't get her out, that his game could be over at that point in time. Just a little bit worried about that. Ashley telling Morgan and Rachel, I don't. Yeah, I may be a little confused on it because I'm not sure they even said that in front of Rachel. No, sorry about that, guys. Vince is I think this is Vince talking at this point. Vince understands. Oh, this Vince and Morgan and Ashley, I think. Sorry about that. Vince is saying he understands that, but he understands if he goes after Rachel and it doesn't work, that he could be in trouble. But he's also very worried that if he goes after Ashley, that Rachel may consider that a personal attack as well. So it's not that he can just leave Rachel off and put Ashley up instead. Either way, it would create issues if he went after either one of them. So here's an idea, Vince. Pick someone from the other side and nominate one of them. Don't pick someone from your own side. Morgan's been trying to push that. She's been trying to Morgan and has been saying, let's get the judges together and figure this out. And he just keeps focusing on the possibility of Rachel or Ashley. So again, talking to Morgan and saying this, and Morgan saying, lay off this side a little bit, Vince. All right, we've got Ashley talking to the cameras a little bit. She's saying that she doesn't trust Ava. We heard that with her conversation a bit earlier. She doesn't trust Ava. She figures that Ava might have some kind of deal with Kat and Lauren, which worries her. Ava also mentioned, Ashley also mentions that Ava is with Vince a lot. And is now saying, Ava is now saying that Mickey kind of ran her HOH, and Ashley's saying Ava's too strong for that. I don't believe that. Ava's trying to excuse some of her stuff, and I'm afraid she may have gone over the other side. Ashley is talking about her strategy, that she's going to be staying super tight with Mickey and Morgan and Rachel and Will so that they'll keep her around and not consider sending her out the door. She's figuring that if Vince renominates Rachel on Monday, Ashley's going to do everything possible, fight hard for Rachel, because she thinks if she does that for Rachel, Rachel is just that much more likely to support and protect Ashley, and Ashley needs someone strong like that to protect her. Ashley is planning to target Ava instead on the block. So, Ava, who we all said, Ava's safe against everyone. She's a house favorite. She's America's favorite, all of that. Well, now Ashley at least is one person who may be going after Ava in this situation. She is saying that if it comes down to it, if she has any control, she hopes she does. Her final three in the game this season is going to be herself and Will and Rachel. That's who she wants to take to the end with her. I'm sure she's thinking at that point, then Rachel would, surely if it came down to Rachel, would get rid of Will. Ashley and Rachel make it to the final two, and Ashley, figuring she's attorney, could probably argue successfully against Rachel. I have a feeling that's what her thinking is. All right, we've got Morgan and Ashley talking. This is while Vince is in the diary room. They've been out there hanging around with him forever. So Morgan and Ashley are talking. Morgan is talking about how happy she is that Vince didn't win the veto. I love the guy, but I'm glad he didn't win the veto and keep the noms the same. How happy she is that Mickey won it. Knowing that now someone's going to be pulled off the block. I don't know. The two of them talking, does she really believe that or not? I don't know. But she's telling Ashley she's happy he didn't win it. Morgan is promising Ashley that if it came down to it, she would save Ashley over Rachel if they were ever facing off She says it as, hey, if I ever won the HOH or if I ever won veto, I'd save you over Rachel and all that. But I think she also may be hinting that, hey, if Rachel's a renom or something, or I mean, if you're the renom, I would protect you if at all possible. Uh, Hoping that Ashley and Will, she's saying as well, I hope that you and will help protect Vince because I'm doing everything I can to protect Vince, but there's only so much I can do. I need help from y'all guys. We need Vince in jury. We need him as a vote for us going forward. So we've got to try to protect him. And Ashley saying, no, absolutely. We want him to stick around. We'll do what it takes. All right, we've got Morgan and Vince talking a long time, a long conversation. Vince had asked her to hang out with him, and hang out she did. She actually ran down, greeted him once he was finally through at the diary room. So now we've got Morgan and Vince talking. Ashley left after a little while. Morgan and Vince are talking. Morgan is saying, look, it was still a good plan that you had, the nominations that you made. It made sense to target Mickey, even if that's not going to happen now, but you had every right to target her. And I'm not upset with that. I think it was a good plan. It just didn't work out. But she's saying, but now that it hadn't worked out, we got to try to figure out how we can do some damage control with Mickey, how we can make the two of y'all better again. Vince is a little more focused on feeling so upset that he lost the veto competition, but she keeps pushing the how can we make it better between you and Mickey? She's saying you need to talk to her and tell her how much I care for Mickey. It sounds more like do damage control between the two of them than Vince and Mickey. She's saying, tell Mickey how much I care about her and that we want to work together. You know the angles. Just you need to make it better with Mickey at this point. She is encouraging him to renominate Kat. Avoid our side. Don't be going after our side. Go after the other side. Create those lines. That'll help keep Mickey on our side. If she sees you going after the other side, you need to do that. So please consider renominating Kat. Vince is talking. He just seems hesitant to do it. Vince is talking about Rachel wanting to target him so badly. He's saying she wanted me gone so much. And as soon as Lauren used that veto, pulled me off the block, suddenly she wants to work with me. What's up with that? Well, what's up with is Rachel's played the game of Big Brother before, and she understands that, I don't know, a person who was in risk this week could win HOH next week, as did happen. And so, yeah, Rachel understands that you need to kiss up when the time is right, and she's done that, and maybe that'll save her from going on the block this week. But he's wondering why Rachel was suddenly so nice to him. And I think the implication is that, hey, she's not doing it because she really wants to work with me. She's just doing it because I was potentially safe, couldn't be put up, and could win HOH. And he's right. All right, Morgan is questioning why he thinks Kat keeps pushing for Kat. Says, why do you think Kat wouldn't come after you no matter what, since you voted out her number one? You voted out Riley. So even if you don't put her up, what makes you think that's going to keep her from putting you up? And she's right. But Vince just thinks that he can solve things by not going after Kat right now. And it's a very good reason to not put her up or to put her up at this point in time. She's already going to be coming after you, Vince. So with that, go for it. Put her up. You're not getting any more blood on your hands. But he's just not getting it. Or doesn't want to talk about it. All right, they're talking about Mickey a little bit. Morgan is saying that everyone wants her gone. It's not going to happen this week. Next week, maybe, not this week. But Vince is saying he's frustrated with Mickey because he can't tell her anything because she immediately runs and tells everyone everything that he has said to her. So that's a bit of an issue. So even though Mickey's safe, that doesn't mean she's off the radar right now. All right, Morgan is telling Vince, talking about Will, telling Vince that, hey, Will really wants to work with you, Vince. And Vince is saying, I would love to work with Will. Absolutely. I just don't trust Rachel or Ashley. And Rachel and Ashley, Will, Morgan, and Vince, the members of the Judges Alliance. So hey, basically you and me and Will, all for it, no problem at all. But the other two in that alliance, I just don't trust them. And that's what's creating some issues themselves. I'm telling you, I know I've said it. I know I'm harping on it, but he's got to declare something. If he wants to work with the judges, he needs to make it clear he wants to work with them, even if he doesn't 100% trust Mickey and Ashley. Still work with that side, go after the other side. If you don't trust them, target them now, declare allegiance with the other side, do something one way or the other, because otherwise you are going to stay at the bottom of everyone's totem poles, alliance charts, whatever it is. Hey, he just has to make a decision. It's driving me crazy. Can you tell the frustration in my voice? All right. So yeah, he's saying I love you and Will, but Rachel and Ashley, I just can't trust them. Don't work with them then. All right, Vince is talking about getting Rachel before she gets him. He's down to that point. Morgan is saying, I get it, but I think, and the other people in the alliance, we're all thinking it's way too soon, Vince, to be going after Rachel. She theoretically is part of us. Why burn that bridge right now when you don't have to, when you have such an easy target on the other side? With that, Morgan, Vince goes in to take a shower. He's so busy talking to people, hadn't even showered yet. He goes in to take a shower. Morgan's waiting for him. She gets called out by Big Brother at one point because remember, she's a have not, so she cannot sleep up there. Otherwise, I think she would. But she can't sleep up there. Finally, he gets out of the shower. She says goodnight, heads down to the have not room. This is 6:30 or so in the morning, 8:30 Big Brother time. So late veto competitions lead to late conversations throughout the evening. At the end of it, we'll see what happens. It'll be a full day of discussions. Really, it's going to be Vince is right. A whole lot of people on one side pushing probably for Kat to go up, maybe Keanu, but probably they're going to settle more on put Kat up. The other side's going to be pushing for Ashley or Rachel, and we'll see if common sense prevails or not. Personally, again, I think Kat is the easy choice at this point going forward. Work with the side, even if you don't trust everyone in there. Work with them. You can get rid of them a little bit later, but we'll see. I'm sure it's going to go back and forth 101 times throughout the day and evening. Guys, have a fantastic Sunday. I'll be back tomorrow morning to talk about all the decisions that I'm sure will have been made about the veto and how it's going to the renoms are going to be made. Yeah, sure. We'll talk about all the conversations and what we think may happen. But until tomorrow, y'all have a great Sunday. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.